PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Trauma is personal. It does not disappear if it is not validated. When it is ignored or invalidated, the silent screams continue internally heard only by the one held captive. When someone enters the pain and hears the screams, healing can begin. By Danielle Burnock. In the United States, about 7 to 8% of people will have PTSD in their lifetime. What is PTSD? PTSD is a mental health condition that develops when someone has witnessed or experienced a traumatic event and there are triggers that cause the memories of trauma to be present. It can last months or years, with triggers that bring back memories of trauma accompanied by intense emotional and physical reactions. Who does it affect? Unfortunately, it does not discriminate, and the assumption is that only military members are affected, but PTSD can develop at any age from an adult, an adolescent, to a child, and even younger. The onset of PTSD can begin as early as 3 months of the traumatic incident, but sometimes they begin years afterward. PTSD criteria. Witnessing or experiencing an act of violence, whether that be a threatened death, serious injury, or sexual violence. Intrusion symptoms such as recurrent, involuntary, and intrusive distressing memories of the traumatic event. Persistent avoidance of stimuli, meaning efforts to avoid distressing memories, thoughts, and feelings about or closely associated with the traumatic event. Negative changes in mood and reason, such as the inability to remember an important aspect of the traumatic event, persistent and exaggerated negative beliefs, and expectations of oneself and or feelings of detachment. Alterations of arousal and reactivity, meaning irritable behavior and angry outbursts, reckless behavior, hypervigilance, exaggerated startled response, problems with concentration, and or sleep disturbance. These symptoms last more than 1 month and cause distress or impairment in social, occupational, or other important areas of functioning, not caused by effects of substances or a medical condition. Symptoms: upsetting memories, being easily startled, self-destructive behavior, avoidance symptoms, feeling tense, nightmares, flashbacks, problems remembering, negative thoughts, self-blame, negative feelings, sleeping problems. Some common triggers include smells, sounds, tastes, images, being touched, certain locations, certain situations, words and phrases, newspapers, and social media. Other disorders that come along with PTSD are depression, anxiety disorders, dissociative disorders, self-harm, suicidal feelings, even substance abuse, eating disorders, panic disorders, social phobia, and or OCD. Effects of drugs and alcohol. The direct effects of alcohol consumption or drug use may make the person suffering feel temporarily numb. It will also lessen the ability to deal with the symptoms. This can trigger a substance use disorder, which can ultimately make the situation worse. Treatment options include cognitive processing therapy, CPT, prolonged exposure, PE, eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, peer support groups. Benefits of treatment: make sense of the traumatic event and or events, learn new skills to better cope with negative thoughts and feelings, reconnect with those that matter, set goals that are manageable. PTSD quotes. The past is a great place, and I don't want to erase it or to regret it, but I don't want to be a prisoner to it either. Mick Jagger. The onset of PTSD for Mick Jagger, the Rolling Stones singer, is said to have developed this reaction after his girlfriend committed suicide on March 17, 2014. It was the first time I was told I had PTSD. I had just thought I was an alcoholic. Shia LaBeouf. According to LaBeouf, when he was a little boy, he was present when his mother was sexually assaulted. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln almost drowned in a creek at 7 years old. His mother died when he was 9. He sat on her grave during a storm to be sure her body didn't float up out of the ground. He had similar reaction a dozen years later when Anne Hathaway, his first, maybe only true love, died. I all of a sudden became a star. and I was traveling the world, going from hotel room to garbage to limo to stage, and I never dealt with it. And then all of a sudden I started to experience this incredible intense pain throughout my entire body that mimicked the illness I felt after I was raped. Lady Gaga. After an incident such as Gaga faced can have a large impact on the emotional as well as physical aspect of that person. Crisis resources. For an emergency, call 911 or National Suicide Prevention Lifeline 1-800-273-8255, or on the website www.suicidepreventionlifeline.org. PTSD treatment. The Cerdran Institute at 410-825-8888. Mental Health Service Locator. SAMHSA at 800-662-4357. Veteran Help at 877-222-8387 or www.va.gov.